So recently I did a video on legitimate reasons to hate the Twilight novels, which in turn put me in a position where I had to discuss the fact that when a book is adapted for stage or screen, things are changed. Characters' genders are changed. Characters' ages are changed. Things are cut out. Um, because people were trying to argue that the fact that one vampire in the Twilight movies is black, that means Stephenie Meyers isn't racist. Yes, she is. She argued against diverse casting for her movies because she wanted all the vampires to be pasty white, because to her you can't be any skin color other than pasty white and be a vampire, which, Stephenie, you're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Vampires come in all shades, all genders, all shapes, all sizes, all ages. Vampires come in a multitude of forms, Stephenie. And honestly, folks, I mean, the casting of the movie does not change the reality of Stephenie. You could have an adaptation of the Harry Potter novels in which every single character is played by an actor who is transgender. J.K. Rowling would still be a TERF. Now, one thing I mentioned in that video is sometimes the movies are actually better. I know that's hard to believe, but there's sometimes when the movies are actually better. And if you haven't seen that second video, one example I gave is, and you can go to YouTube to watch a discussion of this. Go into the search bar at YouTube and type in Lost in Adaptation, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That is an example of the time the movie was so much better. Even the author agreed, and he wrote the sequel novel based off the movie, not his original novel. He retconned the original novel into a nightmare that Jessica Rabbit had. Now, I have not read Jaws, but everybody who has says the movie is better than the book. There's apparently something to do with the mafia and the mayor, and there's marital infidelity in the novel that was all cut out for the movie, which apparently streamlined the plot and made the movie so much better than the novel. Personal examples for me. Now, you might not have heard of this movie because it's an old film noir starring a very young Marilyn Monroe. It's called Don't Bother to Knock. It's based on a novel called Mischief by Charlotte Armstrong. The plot is Marilyn plays Nell, a young woman recently released from a mental hospital after a self-extermination attempt. She's hired to babysit a little girl in a hotel that her uncle works at, and we get to see her mental decline and mental breakdown over the course of one night, including a very scary scene where she threatens the little girl that she is babysitting. And the movie is so much better because it gives us a reason for her breakdown, where the book is just like, here's Nell. She's pretty, but she's mentally unstable. Oh, and she might have burned her parents alive. We don't know for sure, but she might have it. And she just goes bonkers through the night for no reason. No legitimate reason. The book is so boring. Another one, the 2012 The Woman in Black, starring Daniel Radcliffe, is so much better than the novel. The novel is boring, people. The novel is so boring. Forrest Gump. Again, the movie is so much better than the book. I do not know who Groom slept with to get that dreck published. The man is a worse writer than Myers and E.L. James combined. That's how bad his writing is. Watch the movie, never read the book, and stay away from the sequel. Yes, he wrote a sequel novel too, where he kind of bashes the movie. I guess he understood that the movie is so much better and that his book is terrible. People are going to despise me for this one, but The Princess Bride. The Princess Bride, the movie is so much better than the novel. For one thing, in the novel, I mean, Buttercup is stupid in the movie, but in the novel, Buttercup is so dumb, she could make Richard Dawkins question evolution. He would just look at her and think, how does she even remember how to breathe? Plus, it's kind of hinted at that Wesley, or however you say his name, only loves her because she's beautiful, and as soon as she gets old and starts getting wrinkles, he's going to stop loving her. Yeah, that's romantic. So those are some examples of times that the movies were actually way better than the books. Yes, I know it's hard to believe, but there are times when movies are actually better than the books because the changes that they put in there. Now, that being said, I would give anything for an almost book accurate. You have to cut out a lot of extra stuff that Victor Hugo would put in his novels because, trying to get paid per word. But I would give anything for a book accurate adaptation of The Hunchback of Notre Dame because I hate all these adaptations where Phoebus is the dashing hero when in the novel he's a villain. In the novel, he's a villain. I want Phoebus the villain. Thank you for attending, not necessarily my vamp talk this time, but my book talk. Have a good night, everyone.